Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back for another video. Today I want to talk about the ear seeds controversy that's been circling around the chronic illness and specifically ME community, and I want to talk about why people are upset by the situation. So if you haven't heard, there's a television program in the UK called Dragon's Den, which is the same as Shark Tank in the US. The concept is people go in, present their business ideas and small businesses or smaller businesses to these very wealthy people who are looking for investment opportunities. So they pitch their idea, dragons then agree or don't agree to invest in this business. So basically what happened was the entrepreneur came in with the product of ear seeds, which are not new and come from acupuncture. She started off explaining her history of ME and saying that ear seeds were one of the things that helped her throughout her healing journey. She ended up with investment offers from all of the dragons, which is very unusual. And the main reason, arguably, was the massive markup. But separating ourselves from that, why is this a problem? The main problems are the implication that ear seeds can cure ME/CFS, the lack of evidence to support the ear seeds and them having any effect on ME/CFS, the price increase from the creation of the product to the actual product, and the fact that the BBC have effectively endorsed this product. So these are the main problems that people had with it, but let's dive a little bit deeper into why these things are issues. Let's start with the first one. While it wasn't directly claimed that ME could be cured by ear seeds, it was implied, and that implication can be harmful. ME/CFS is frequently not taken seriously already. People think that it's made up, people think that it's attention seeking, people think that if we just tried harder, we could be okay. And I think these types of cures, or the implication that they're cures, will send a lot of casual viewers more into the belief that if we really wanted to be better, we would try harder. Because clearly there's all these cures out here like ear seeds that we clearly just haven't been trying hard enough. And I think that implication is very harmful, especially as over the last 20-30 years ME has been clawing at more respect and credibility as an illness, and anytime something takes away from it, I think we really feel the effects. I've seen people online say they've been contacted by family members or friends telling them about the ear seeds, asking them if they've tried them, suggesting that if they don't want to try them, then they're not trying hard enough to cure themselves, that they're giving up. And my mum was actually contacted by one of her friends and told about them, because obviously her friend knows that I have ME. And so definitely this has happened, not directly to me, but my mum was told about it. She started watching the episode and then thought, yeah, this is at least not for me. And she knows the types of things that I am interested in and not interested in, so she didn't bring it to me. But not everybody's families will be as aware of what is right for different people. So I think a lot of people will be inundated with messages and well-meaning people recommending this. And something that people with chronic illnesses don't love is unsolicited recommendations, because we get so many of them, we've tried so many, and they don't work. And unfortunately, that's just the truth for most recommendations. So that is point number one. It suggests that we need to be trying more things and we're not trying hard enough, and it takes the credibility away from our illness, diagnosis, symptoms, all of these things. That they could be cured so easily is the implication, and I think that does not help us. The second point is there's no evidence that they work. This person had ME and she found that they helped her, and that is great. It's so good when someone finds something that can help them. But something that helps you is not the same thing as a treatment, and it is definitely not the same thing as a cure. Anecdotal evidence is not enough to promote the use of something when it has not undergone strict medical research with double-blind trials and control groups and big numbers of people and all of this stuff. There is no evidence that they work. Ear seeds come from acupuncture, and even the acupuncture institution, the BACC, says the scientific evidence for acupuncture, of which there is some, and for ear seeds, of which there is none, for the use on ME/CFS. Acupuncture is a very old and respected form of medicine, and absolutely there's nothing wrong with trying acupuncture, but the ear seeds are a form or version of acupuncture which have not been linked in any way to helping with ME/CFS. The ME Association has put out a statement saying they do not endorse the ear seeds and there is no evidence. And to suggest that something will help someone when there's no evidence that it will, I think is harmful, especially because we get our hopes up that something will help. And when it doesn't, it can be really difficult for people. I think though the episode did not say that it was a cure for ME, it was somewhat implied. And whether this was purposeful or not, I don't know. But the implication was that doing this, like she did, will either cure or significantly improve your ME/CFS. And it's only, I don't know, £30 or whatever it was she said. I have looked into it, and no medical organisation and no ME organisation supports the use of ear seeds. None of them do. The NHS says there's no cure and limited treatments. The ME Association says we can manage ME, but we cannot cure it. The World Health Organization says there's no reliable treatments. The Centre for Disease Control and Prevention says there's no cure. The Mayo Clinic says there's no cure. Johns Hopkins Medicine says there's no cure. ME Research UK says there's no treatments that can cure ME. All of these sources are on the same page, and unfortunately there is just no evidence that ear seeds will help with ME. The next issue I have is the convincing ill and sometimes desperate people that they need to part with their money for cures and treatments. I live in a country with universal healthcare, and I firmly believe healthcare should be free. And this item was presented in a quasi-medical light. It was presented as something that may be able to help significant life-altering illnesses, and to charge for that type of thing, let alone have such a large markup, I find unsavory. For me, I think it preys on people's desperation. A lot of people with ME struggle with mental health issues, and I myself have been in very, very dark places before. Places where I would have done anything to be better, anything to get my old life back. And we know there's a cost of living crisis. People cannot afford to be throwing their money away. But also, if it works, and this is the thought process so many people I'm sure will have, if it works, you can't afford to not try it. If it's £30, say, that's a lot out of your weekly or monthly budget. But if it could give you your health, it's nothing. The problem is you don't know until you've spent the money. So you have to give them said £30 on the off chance, because you can't risk missing out on this magical cure. And that worries me, because I would hate to think anyone in a difficult position was taken advantage of or convinced to spend money they can't afford to spend on something because they are desperate. It scares me that I think probably people will do it because they just need a cure or they just need some relief or something. Which leads me on to the next point. The BBC is credible. The BBC is, and has been for a long time, very reputable, very credible. They are a very quality institution, at least in public perception. And for them to promote something is for them to say it is good, it is legitimate. They put out a statement saying that they do not endorse all the products on that programme. It is just supposed to be a peek inside business, but putting things on telly for millions of viewers to watch, and it being on the BBC, gives it both massive publicity and a certain amount of credibility because of who the BBC are. You cannot help but endorse something if you are the person or the company showing it to millions of people. That's an endorsement. And what's more of an endorsement is these business people, the dragons, invested. They praised this company. They put a lot of money into this company. This is a very big advert for this company. And what they fail to do, despite the multiple levels I'm sure that have to be gone through before a company can be put onto this program, they failed to look into effectiveness or evidence. And the dragons failed to ask questions about effectiveness or evidence. And I understand why, because they're looking at it from a business perspective. But viewers aren't looking at it from a business perspective. Viewers are looking at it from a finally something that might help. The BBC says this will work. It's just got an investment. So that means it's good. I can order this and it's a reasonable price. It's not thousands of pounds. That is a very significant marketing strategy, even if the BBC do not intend it to be a marketing strategy. It is one. I don't know if you remember, but NeoWalks went on Dragon's Den, and when the episode aired, the website crashed because there was so much traffic. That is what that show does. You show someone a product, and in the case of NeoWalk, it's an innovative, beautiful walking stick, a helpful aid with no erroneous claims. People see it, think it's amazing, want to go buy it. You show something that the introduction of it as a treatment or cure, or the implication of it as a treatment or cure for ME/CFS, is therefore assumed to be in the same light as other things that have been on this program. They are promoted as legitimate businesses. And I want to be very, very clear, I am not criticizing this woman for her business, for believing that something helped her ME, or even for suggesting to others that it might help theirs. All of those things are perfectly fine. We all find different things help us, and we all suggest to our friends things that we find useful. The problem I see is the BBC putting it on a very highly watched program, which is effectively an endorsement. Whether intentionally or not, it's an effective endorsement. And I think that that is a problem. I don't think there's anything wrong with selling the ear seeds themselves. The promise or implied promise, I think, is going to hurt a lot of people. And I worry that a lot of people are gonna use their money for this and be disappointed or heartbroken or worse. I just worry. I've seen people online say that they're not certain they believe it, but they bought it anyway. Again, because of the idea that you can't miss something if this is the cure. But I've also seen people say they're really excited about it. And absolutely, I'm not saying don't buy it. You are your own person, and if you think this is the type of thing that will work for you, by all means. But I would take the situation with a grain of salt. Limit your expectations. The roller coaster of hope and disappointment is very difficult to deal with, and I just want you to make sure you're protecting yourself and your feelings from this kind of hurt. So if you want to try it out, just remember it's a long shot and try and keep your hopes in check. Though, of course, I'm not meaning to shame anyone who does want to try it out or has tried it out in the past or thinks that it's useful, because of course you are free to try anything that you think will help you. But the lack of evidence means that I do not think it should be being promoted to large swaths of people. That's all. I hope you found this video interesting. If you agree or vehemently disagree, let me know in the comments. As long as we are keeping the comments respectful, I'm quite happy for you to disagree and tell me you think I'm wrong, and I will see you in the next video. Over the next month or two, I've got some really good videos coming up. I'm so excited. They're already in production and I can't wait for you to see them, so please subscribe if you haven't already. I really think some of my best videos ever are going to be coming up in the next couple of months.